This award was historic because it placed Jungkook in a category previously thought inaccessible to artists from South Korea. Unlike achievements that are fan-voted or regionally centered, this recognition came from a respected American body that has traditionally set the tone for what is considered legitimate artistry in the US music market. To see Jungkook's name etched into history alongside established American icons was not only a proud moment for him and his supporters, but also a powerful reminder of how music is evolving in an era of global interconnectedness. What shocked many in America was not only that Jungkook won, but the manner in which he did so. The competition was fierce, filled with household names that have dominated streaming platforms, radio charts, and award ceremonies for years. Yet Jungkook's artistry, stage presence, and global fan support were undeniable. His performances leading up to the award had already caught attention for their precision, energy, and emotional resonance. Critics who once hesitated to acknowledge K-pop stars as serious artists had to reassess their positions. When the award was finally announced, it felt less like a mere trophy and more like a symbolic victory, one that dismantled barriers and reset expectations. The emotional weight of this achievement cannot be understated. For Jungkook, who has been open about his struggles with self-expectation and his desire to continuously improve, the recognition validated years of relentless dedication. Since debuting at a young age, he has carried the pressure of being part of the world's biggest boy band, while also carving his own artistic identity. Winning this award in the US, a country that historically has not always been receptive to non-Western acts, was a culmination of effort, resilience, and vision. For fans, it was emotional because they had witnessed his journey from a teenager on stage in Seoul to a global icon standing shoulder to shoulder with the world's most influential performers. What makes this moment particularly striking is the cultural symbolism attached to it. For decades, American awards shows have acted as gatekeepers, often defining what the rest of the world consumes. The fact that Jungkook could step into this arena and not just participate, but emerge victorious speaks volumes about how the balance of cultural influence is shifting. The globalization of music is no longer a prediction, it is happening in real time. And Jungkook's award win is one of the clearest examples of this transformation. From a business perspective, this achievement is equally significant. Industry experts in the US are beginning to acknowledge that Jungkook and artists like him are not just musical performers, but cultural powerhouses capable of driving fashion, brand endorsements, and even social conversations. His partnerships with luxury brands like Calvin Klein have already proven his commercial influence. Now, with a historic award win under his belt, his marketability in the US has reached unprecedented heights. It is no longer just fans who are paying attention. Corporations, investors, and marketers are also analyzing what makes Jungkook's appeal so enduring and universal. The shock in America also stems from the speed at which this shift has occurred. While BTS as a group laid the groundwork by achieving milestones in stadium tours and Billboard charts, Jungkook's solo triumph happened with remarkable momentum. His songs have charted impressively, his music videos have broken viewing records, and his live performances have garnered critical acclaim. Yet, many in the US music establishment had not anticipated that he could clinch an award of such stature so soon. The underestimation of his influence only amplified the impact of his victory, leaving industry insiders rethinking strategies and acknowledging that the global audience cannot be ignored. It is also important to note the generational aspect of this achievement. Younger audiences in the US are increasingly open to international acts, streaming music without borders, and embracing diverse cultures through digital platforms. Jungkook's victory is therefore not just about him as an artist, but also about the new generation of music consumers who are reshaping what mainstream means. In many ways, the award is a reflection of their power as much as it is of Jungkook's talent. What follows from here is equally fascinating. With this historic award, Jungkook has set a precedent for other Korean artists and global performers seeking recognition in the US. The doors have been pushed open wider, and the conversation has shifted from whether non-American artists can succeed to how far they can go. For Jungkook himself, the win will likely fuel even greater artistic ambition. Already known for his perfectionist tendencies, this validation will encourage him to push boundaries further, experiment with new sounds, and continue to elevate his craft. In retrospect, America's shock at Jungkook's award win may not be entirely surprising. For years, the signs were there: his chart performances, viral impact on social media, and undeniable charisma in live shows. Yet, the reality of seeing his name engraved into history struck with more force than anticipation ever could. It is a moment that fans, critics, and industry professionals alike will remember not as a lucky break or a passing trend, but as a genuine turning point. This historic award is not just about recognition, it is about rewriting narratives. It is about an artist from South Korea proving that talent knows no borders, and that the American music industry, once considered the pinnacle of success, must now embrace a more global perspective. Jungkook's journey to this moment was marked by discipline, artistry, and resilience. But its significance stretches far beyond his personal career. It represents a cultural shift, an industry evolution, and a glimpse into the future of music where global diversity is not the exception but the norm. This new reality has led many US labels to re-evaluate their strategies. Collaborations with international artists are no longer treated as experimental ventures, but as essential moves to stay relevant. Jungkook's win served as both a wake-up call and a blueprint. Artists with true global resonance cannot be confined by borders, and awards must evolve to reflect that reality. Beyond industry talk, Jungkook's award carried deep cultural symbolism in America. For Asian communities in the US, particularly Korean Americans, it was a moment of pride and validation. Representation in mainstream media has long been a struggle, with Asian artists often sidelined or stereotyped. To see a Korean performer not only succeed but win a historic award shattered long-standing barriers. Universities and cultural organizations quickly picked up on the significance. Lectures and panel discussions were organized to analyze what Jungkook's victory meant for diversity, globalization, and soft power. Scholars drew parallels between his win and the broader rise of Korean culture, K-dramas, Korean cuisine, and technology, which have steadily gained prominence in the US. For many, Jungkook's award was not just about music, it was about the acceptance of a new cultural era where Korean influence is undeniable. Of course, one cannot discuss this moment without addressing the fans. Jungkook's supporters played a monumental role in building momentum around his work, ensuring that his music reached audiences far and wide. But when the award was announced, the reaction was not just celebratory, it was emotional. Fans who had followed him since his teenage years reflected on his growth, his struggles, and the sacrifices he made to reach this point. Social media became a digital festival of sorts, with fans sharing memories, performance clips, and heartfelt messages. Many described feeling vindicated, as if the years of supporting him had finally been recognized by the very institutions that once dismissed non-Western acts. The fan base's emotional investment made the moment feel communal, as though Jungkook's victory was shared not only by him, but by millions of people worldwide who had stood by his side. Interestingly, the award also introduced Jungkook to new demographics in the US. While younger audiences were already familiar with his music, older viewers who tuned into the award show often experienced him for the first time. The reception was largely positive, with many praising his humility, stage presence, and professionalism. For some, the shock came from realizing that his artistry was on par with, if not surpassing, established American stars. Talk shows and radio stations began to feature him in conversations, while lifestyle magazines covered his fashion, personality, and influence. Suddenly, Jungkook was no longer just a figure in the K-pop sphere. He was being treated as a global celebrity integrated into American pop culture. One of the most profound consequences of Jungkook's historic win is the redefinition of success. Traditionally, American artists have viewed US awards as the ultimate validation. But for Jungkook, the win meant something different. It was not the end goal, but rather a recognition of the global journey he had already undertaken. This subtle but important distinction changes the narrative. His achievement suggests that validation no longer flows in one direction from America to the rest of the world. Instead, recognition is becoming reciprocal, with the US acknowledging global stars just as much as the world has consumed American culture. This paradigm shift is what makes Jungkook's award so historic. It challenges the very structure of cultural authority. With this award, the expectations surrounding Jungkook's next steps have intensified. Industry experts speculate about potential collaborations with American artists, appearances at major US festivals, and even greater integration into the Western market. Yet, Jungkook's own history suggests that he will approach these opportunities with careful thought, ensuring that his artistic integrity remains intact. What seems certain is that his influence will only expand. American audiences, now fully aware of his capabilities, will likely see more of him across media platforms. Meanwhile, global fans will continue to push his work to new heights, ensuring that his name remains a fixture in both Eastern and Western entertainment landscapes. Ultimately, the shock that America felt when Jungkook won his historic award was not rooted in disbelief of his talent, but in the realization that the world has changed. The once firmly held boundaries between domestic and international success are dissolving, and Jungkook stands as the clearest example of this transformation. His journey has shown that music, when genuine and powerful, knows no borders, and now, not even the American industry can deny it.